I want to welcome Candace Zarni again. She's the author of the book First Cause. Candace, your book gives us some incredibly vivid, almost painfully relatable examples of how symptoms manifest in daily life. It outlines 3 specific pain points. Let's talk about the first one, the 3 a.m. wake-up.
This is perhaps the most universally recognized symptom across all demographics in the book, and it's deeply tied to how our neurology processes suppressed information. You wake up at 3 a.m. and you just lie there and you cannot go back to sleep. But it's not the peaceful alertness of someone who's just rested enough. No, it is this very specific, almost aggressive kind of mental aliveness.
Exactly. Your thoughts are circling the drain. You're thinking about the tense conversation you didn't have with your boss, or the financial decision you've been postponing, or the weird tone your friend used in a text message. And you're staring at the ceiling, doing that desperate mental math, like, okay, if I could just fall asleep in the next 12 minutes, I can still get exactly 4 hours and 15 minutes of sleep.
And then the anxiety about not sleeping compounds the original anxiety. You pick up your phone. The blue light hits your retina. You put it down. You roll over. You try every sleep hygiene trick you've ever read about. Yes, and people treat this strictly as a medical issue. They go to their doctors, they try the magnesium supplements, the strict sleep restriction protocols, the expensive weighted blankets, the apps that track your sleep stages and give you a terrible readiness score the next morning, which just makes you feel even more defeated.
So true. But the core argument here is that for the vast majority of these people, this isn't a sleep disorder at all, is it?
No, it's not a lack of magnesium, and it's not a failure of your mattress. The research argues quite convincingly that this 3 a.m. wakefulness is your true voice. Finding the only quiet interval in your entire 24-hour cycle to finally get your attention.
Wow.
Think about the neurology of it. During the day, your brain's task-positive network is highly engaged. You're too busy managing the performance of your life. You're answering emails, navigating traffic, projecting competence. Your cognitive bandwidth is maxed out, so your inner knowing, the underlying signal of your actual truth, waits until the external noise stops. The default mode network kicks in and it literally wakes you up.
So the thoughts that are circling in the dark aren't random anxieties.
No, they are a dashboard warning light. They're pointing directly to the gap between who you actually are and how you are currently living. There's a story that illustrates this perfectly about a woman named Maria. She's 47 years old and she hadn't slept through the night in 2 solid years. She tried all the clinical interventions, the CBT workbooks, the prescriptions, the blackout curtains. Every single morning, she's sitting at her kitchen table, staring out the window with this specific, haunting hollowness, just fighting a war against her own body. And the turning point is fascinating. When she finally committed to the practice, just the act of sitting in silent, unprotected self-reflection for a few minutes a day, the answer didn't take months to arrive. It arrived almost immediately, right within 3 days. The signal was right there, waiting to be heard. What was the answer that finally broke through for her? She realized with devastating clarity that she had been living her husband's version of their shared life for over a decade.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. For years, she had been quietly, amiably nodding along to every major structural decision. They bought their current house because he wanted more square footage. They moved to a neighborhood she secretly never felt at home in. She agreed to social plans without ever genuinely consulting her own preferences. She had completely merged her identity with his preferences to avoid conflict. So her body wasn't broken. Her body was literally forcing her awake to pay attention to this massive misalignment. That's exactly it. And once she started listening to herself voluntarily during the daylight hours, the 3 a.m. wake-ups simply stopped. Because her body didn't need to sound the emergency alarm in the dark anymore, because she was finally checking the dashboard during the day.
That is incredibly heavy, and it makes total biological sense. Your body keeps the score, and if you ignore the score, it will wake you up to read it to you.
So here's where I'll leave you. Everything we talked about today starts with one thing: checking your dashboard during the day. Because if you are ignoring your dashboard, you are certain to wake again at 3 a.m. That's why I developed a free 5-minute quiz that tells you exactly which reactive pattern runs you when the pressure hits. The one that's been costing you without you ever naming it. Go to consciousnesstrack.app/quiz. Take it before the day gets hold of you. See your pattern. Then you'll know exactly where the work begins.